The evening at the home of Colby Lassiter was supposed to be a sophisticated gathering of friends, a rare occasion to savor fine spirits and discuss potential investments in the flourishing California vineyards. George Weatherly, a man of refined tastes and a long history of professional success, found himself thoroughly enjoying the company of his host and the exquisite 1938 cognac that Colby had poured with such ceremonious pride. The atmosphere was one of quiet luxury, with the slow ticking of the grand clock in the corner marking the passage of a night meant for relaxation. As the hour approached 11, George felt a comfortable drowsiness settling over him, a product of the excellent meal and the heady vintage he had been enjoying. However, the tranquility of the evening was abruptly shattered by a telephone call. It was George's answering service, informing him of a distressing event at his own residence. Someone had broken into his home, and the item taken was none other than the Exeter, a diamond of immense value and deep sentimental significance that George had kept for his late wife, Mildred. The news was shocking, casting a dark cloud over what had been a peaceful night. Barnaby Jones, a private investigator known for his meticulous nature and sharp intellect, was brought into the investigation by the California Meridian Insurance Company. Barnaby understood that the theft of such a prestigious stone was rarely the work of a random burglar. It required specific knowledge, an understanding of the diamond's location, and a plan that accounted for the security measures in place. During his initial inquiries, Barnaby spoke with George Weatherly, who expressed confusion and disbelief that anyone within his circle of friends could be responsible. Yet, as the investigation unfolded, the list of potential suspects grew, though none seemed to fit the profile of a criminal mastermind. The plot thickened when it was discovered that a professional diamond cutter had been involved, a man named Marcel Delaude. Barnaby's search for this individual led him to the culinary world, specifically to a chef at the Le Pomerol restaurant who held a grudge against the French cutter. The trail was complex, involving international connections and a series of seemingly unrelated events. Barnaby pieced together the fragments of the puzzle, the timing of the theft, the alibis of the guests at Colby Lassiter's dinner, and the curious incident involving a cigar that George Weatherly remembered but could not quite place. Colby Lassiter, while projecting the image of a successful and respectable businessman, was harboring a dangerous secret. He had planned the robbery to secure his own financial future, motivated by pressures that were not immediately obvious to those around him. He had manipulated the timeline of the evening, ensuring that George would be incapacitated and unaware of the true time, allowing for a window of opportunity to commit the crime. The involvement of others, including a man named Kurt who had traveled from Switzerland, further complicated the situation. Kurt, driven by his own motives and his connection to Colby's wife, Claire, attempted to intercept the stolen diamond for his own gain, leading to a dangerous game of deception and betrayal. As the pressure mounted, the true nature of the events began to surface. Barnaby Jones, using his keen powers of observation, identified the inconsistencies in Colby's story. He realized that the theft was an inside job, meticulously staged to appear as an external burglary. The detail of the unclipped cigar, which George had intuitively sensed was wrong, became the key to unlocking the truth. Barnaby systematically dismantled the facade that Colby had constructed. The confrontation that followed was tense, as the realization set in that the path Colby had chosen had led only to ruin. The schemes, the reliance on others, and the attempt to force an exchange with the insurance company had all failed against the steady, persistent work of a man who refused to be deterred by complex lies. The truth was laid bare. The theft, the manipulation of the security systems, and the tragic consequences that followed were all parts of a desperate act that could not stand up to the light of scrutiny. In the end, justice was served. The roles played by the various individuals involved, from the unintended casualties to the orchestrators of the plot, were clarified, and the mystery of the Exeter diamond was resolved. Barnaby Jones stood as a testament to the fact that no matter how carefully a crime is planned, the truth has a way of revealing itself, often through the smallest, most overlooked details. The evening that had begun with the promise of fine cognac and conversation concluded with a profound lesson on the importance of integrity and the folly of seeking shortcuts at the expense of others. The experience left everyone involved with a somber reminder of the value of an honest life, far removed from the fleeting allure of stolen treasures.